Hello everyone, and welcome to Straight Chilling. Each week we watch and review a horror film for your entertainment. You can send all questions and comments to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to keep chilling.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing. 5 cold feelings on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star ratings from the floor to the ceiling. If you get your 1 star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ, all the 1s and 2s. By the name of someone, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all in 2. And prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? Welcome to another farm-tastic episode of Straight Chilling. My name's Bob, and I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 205, recorded on Sunday, March 10th, 2019. Tonight, we're going to be talking about The Farm from 2018, chosen by the one, the only, Becky.
Hey!
What up, what up, what up? Before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else at the table tonight. Let's start off with Becky. Thank you for choosing this bizarre film.
You're welcome. Thank you for watching.
I cannot wait to talk about it and to talk about why you subjected us all to this horror. The hell's wrong with you?
It's a 5-star movie. Everyone should watch it.
5 stars.
Becky, did you hear that Randy accused you of spending his own money to make him watch this film? Is that correct?
I make more than Randy, so that is not correct.
All right. Randy called my ass out like last week, so I want to make sure he got his.
Beef.
I will say I'm a bit of a cheapo. We've watched this twice now, and I can't believe we could have bought the movie for cheaper than we rented it twice. We did buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
We own this.
We own it.
We own it outright.
That's unfortunate.
I've been having dread that we rented it twice instead of just buying it once.
Well, now you have dread that we bought it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Next up in the house, as always, calling in from Santa Barbara, California, Randy Gandy G. Landy.
Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Moo. Everyone. Moo to you all.
And last but not least, calling in from Southern Korea, Soju.
What up? It's your boy Time Travel Stains this morning, back to 13 hours ahead instead of 14.
Doc Brown head ass.
That's my favorite time.
Are cars all automatic now? Are they all self-driving?
Yeah, they can do. And they pour you lattes and everything.
Ooh, that sounds dangerous on the road. Okay.
Risky business.
Hot lattes right on your crotch.
Crotch tase.
Hot coffee. Lawsuit part 2, I guess.
The old crotch tase.
This crotch is hot. Hot as shit.
This went in an unexpected direction.
Yeah. I love how we covered The Entity last week, and like a day or two after we posted our episode on it, we were talking about how hard it was to find a Blu-ray copy that wasn't like a bizarre German release. And then Scream Factory announced that they're putting out their collector's edition this June. Then bitches listen to our show.
We drive the market. We drive it.
He said with a mouthful.
We need a steel box of The Farm. We need it.
It reminds me very much of being a child in the first generation of Pokemon and inventing Pokemon that would eventually become real Pokemon somehow. They're mining us. They're mining our brains for Pokemon and DVD sales.
It legit was like less than 12 hours after it came out of our mouths. Bob edited the show, posted it, and it was like the next day.
It's really amazing that they were able to hear us and within 12 hours have a fully manufactured disc with all the special features you can ask for.
Very quickly.
They really respond to our demands quickly, and we gotta give it to Scream Factory for that one.
Yeah, we're gonna get that 4K Steelbox, The Farm. We're doing that.
Oh man, Steelcase The Farm? I don't think so. That'll never happen.
I'm not asking for that.
No one would ever do something so awesome.
Right.
If it drops this week, I swear to God, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on.
Big Brother's in your brain. Real quick, let's tackle some housekeeping. So just another reminder, the April poll pick is posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you can vote on a movie we're going to talk about this April. The 3 movies that are up there for you to vote on are The Boy, American Psycho, and Saw. And that is because the theme of the month is movies that fooled us.
Did The Boy fool anyone though?
Yeah.
Fooled me?
Fooled
Randy,
me.
apparently.
They fooled me.
I thought I was the only one. Or I'm sorry. I didn't know that I was the only one. Excuse me. Back that up. Reverse it.
Back
it up.
Back that ass up.
Yeah. No, I thought that everyone kind of reacted that way. I was apparently very wrong. And also very wrong about the general demeanor towards this film.
There's a lot of backlash.
The general feeling is not a positive feeling, as it turns out.
How those numbers looking, Bob?
The boy. So far, American Psycho is in the lead, but you still got a few weeks to vote, so make sure you do it. You got till the end of the month. Justin, do you want to talk about some YouTubing and some Twitch?
Yeah, we got our YouTubing. It's been a little quiet because no Bob's Blu-rays. The last 2 weeks have been a little obscure, I suppose. Hey, Bob, you can get that Entity now, and you can review that, though, as soon as it comes in, right?
Yes. Entity.
I can.
And then after this week, I'm sure we'll hear about the farm dropping. You can pick that up, just a little late review on Bob's Blu-rays.
That farm drop, people.
Yeah, but we got our typical Twitch games going. I'm playing through Limbo this month. If you're into any horror video gaming, I'm uploading all of my playthroughs onto YouTube so you can watch those. And I'm still doing some of the Resident Evil 2. That game's pretty extensive, and I wanted to get through all of the kind of the basic playthroughs. So I'm doing a Claire playthrough, and I'm uploading those to YouTube as well. So the game from last month still got some stuff going up. Game from this month still going up. So you can check that out if you like video games.
How deep are you in Limbo at this point?
I thought I would finish this week because I played the first week, and when I checked the chapter update, it looked like I was about halfway through. And it looks like this week I played another hour, same as last week, and it looked like I was about another quarter of the way through. So I think maybe next week I think I'll finish it.
Okay.
Because it looks like about another 25% left to go. I guess it's just getting a little harder and slowed me down a little bit. I kill that kid a lot.
I was going to say you're committing a lot of what is the childicide?
Infanticide?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Infanticide?
Yes.
Infanticide? I guess. Yeah.
That kid dies a lot. That game is really cool, though. Whoa, getting a little feedback. That game is really cool, though. If you've never seen Limbo, or if you have seen it before, the art style in that is absolutely beautiful. I don't know, and the puzzles are really cool too. Having just played Little Nightmares, I really prefer this game to Little Nightmares as far as the puzzle. Little Nightmares was still great and had its own positives, but I'm really enjoying Limbo, and I'm excited to play Inside too. So from the same studios, and everybody keeps saying they're very similar kind of style and stuff like that. So I'm excited to get into Inside very soon as well.
Get into Inside.
Get inside.
All up in it. Cool. Thank you, Juice. That's it for the housekeeping. Let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randy, what you been watching?
Let's see. So last night I began a wonderful magical journey through the life of Michael Jackson.
Motherfucker, you stole mine. What you been watching?
Oh shit!
All dibs. So
through Michael Jackson.
Y'all can double team it.
You can talk about it. No, I have other shit. Okay?
I mean, you're a couple, so you're pretty much the same person. Might as well just go ahead.
Yeah, I diddle my own dick. It is.
She diddles my dick.
All right. I hope so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I know we've watched a few things, and I'm like, I'll remember it for the week, and I can't remember any of them. But I do remember the Michael Jackson thing.
Watched Michael Jackson, which is terrifying.
Yeah, don't ever want to be Michael Jackson.
Don't want to be Michael Jackson.
You know what?
Well,
I don't want to be him.
There's
don't
a theme.
Ever want to be Michael Jackson.
Well, he's dead. There's a theme of these stories, though, because we watched another documentary called Abandoned in Plain Sight. And
we talked about that.
Yeah, we've talked about that. But these fucking parents are just it's normal for my 9-year-old to sleep in a 30-year-old man's bed for 7 nights in a row.
It's so weird to me that this was happening concurrent with Panic, and nobody thought anything weird was going on.
It's fucked up.
Whatever.
It's another thing that's just weird about our society as far as Michael Jackson goes. Why do we have we don't allow like murderers to settle outside of court. Let me just pay this money to this family of this person I've murdered. We'll settle out of court before I'm determined guilty or non-guilty. It's like, why do we live in a society where a like accused, and we don't know, serial pedophile is able to just pay money and be, settled outside of court? Like, why is that a thing? Why does that exist?
We'll tell you guys. It's a 4-hour documentary, and we're 1 hour in. So
yeah, we're only 1 hour into
God.
4-hour journey. It's fucking awful.
It's been terrible so far, in a good way, but not a good way.
Get through Russian Doll
In
a little bit.
kind of way.
We're almost done with Russian Doll.
Yeah, we've got 2 episodes left of Russian Doll. It's been really good.
Yeah, there was something. We watched Captain Marvel yesterday.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
It was okay. It's not in my upper echelon of Marvel flicks, but it wasn't terrible.
We also watched, remember, I wanted to watch like an actual scary movie a few nights ago. It was like really pouring and raining. And we watched a movie we watched The Witch again, The Vitch, and then we also watched the other one we watched.
Vitch. I don't know.
The Ritual. The one about the woods.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, The Ritual. That's right. We did watch The Ritual, which I talked about last week.
Oh, never mind.
But is still, it's still one of my favorite horror movies of last year, and I just didn't know about it until this year, unfortunately. So.
Yeah. Anyways.
Good shit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. Beach.
Classic.
It is. Thank you, Little John. Juice, what you been watching?
I also went and saw Captain Marvel. And one thing I'm just not personally ready for is the 90s nostalgia. Like, it doesn't, like how the 80s, we've been riding the 80s dick for so long. And like, I enjoy that kind of aesthetic. And it's a little before our time because we were born late 80s. But like hearing like No Doubt and shit, I feel like, especially like in our hometown, it's like that's just been on the radio for the past 30 years.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not ready.
Rock stations.
Yeah, the new rock station. I'm not ready to hear like fucking that shit in movies. It's like a throwback. I'm like, oh fuck. And like even the Nirvana, like the Come As You Are, like it was, I don't know. I felt that movie was really heavy handed in that. And maybe it's just because I'm not ready for the 90s nostalgia. Like I'm not really to accept that that's ready to be a thing. But also I just thought it was like laid on really thick, where a lot of the times it wasn't necessary, or it just like felt out of place. Felt like they were trying to do like the Suicide Squad thing, where they were just like, this is kind of dull, let's throw some music in there, and it just happened to be throwback.
There's a template for this now, and it's called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, where they have like, okay, this crazy situation is happening in space with fucking monsters with tentacle faces and shit. So we got to round our audience with something, and they choose usually to do it. In that movie, they did it with like a soundtrack that everybody loved. Everybody fucking loved it. So like playing fucking, I Can't Stop This Feeling and shit just endeared everybody to it and got everybody, okay, so this is sort of like a familiar story in an absurd setting. They're trying to do the same thing with all these other movies now, and Captain Marvel, like really, like you said, heavy-handed, went in with the 90s nostalgia in play, but it like almost sacrificed I feel like it sacrificed character beats to facilitate that. And like half the jokes were just like, boy, computers were bad, huh?
Yeah.
And also Nick Fury is a dope in that movie. So
yeah, that was a weird choice. I thought that was very
He's just kind of along for the ride. I get it because he's like not like self-actualized or whatever, but he's just kind of like, all right, let's go do the next thing. Let's go.
It's like the goofy buddy cop or it's like a buddy cop kind of story. I don't know, whatever. It was okay.
Strange stuff. It was all right though. It was still fun action scenes and shit, and really great graphics. But like Nick Fury's face, fucking Sam Jackson's face, that was pretty
they did a good job.
Like they've even come a long way since doing that similar shit with Grand Moff Tarkin and stuff in Star Wars. Like I would say it's comparably, and even like it's upping the ante on that even, which was already pretty good, even though you could still kind of hit that uncanny valley with him.
Yeah, still weird.
Yeah. I also started watching what's that show called? The Umbrella Academy.
Oh, I've got a kid at the school I work at who loves that show. So tell me all about it.
Well, I mean, It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like got an interesting concept. It's based on a graphic novel or whatever that was written by the dude from My Chemical Romance, apparently, which I think old B-Rad was telling us about.
Yeah.
I'm not even, I don't know, I'm like maybe 3 or 4 episodes deep.
Much sense.
Yeah. And it's actually pretty good, but it's interesting too, though, because I've been watching like Korean shows just to kind of practice my like Korean and stuff like that. And once you kind of like pull yourself out of a culture, it's easy to start seeing like the strings a little bit. Like everything is like about a broken family or about being alone, like in American culture. Whereas like when I'm watching Korean shows, like it's completely different, like the focuses and stuff like that. And it's just interesting to see like how much we're kind of like focused on like tragedy and like, you know, like the broken, everything's always like a broken home and like the trouble with your family and like stuff. And I'm just like, that's interesting to see. So, but yeah, it's decent enough. I'll finish it. I know people are like losing their goddamn loads over it, but it's actually, I mean, like it's got like interesting characters. It's another kind of superhero thing. Like it's almost like a Mystery Men, which is kind of funny because what's her name's in it? Who was in Mystery Men, the bowler? What's that? Oh no, that's not her. Never mind. Ellen Page is in it, and for just a second, I thought that was Ellen Page, but it's not.
No, boy, man.
No,
next year, tell me she directed
up.
The Witch. Am I right?
Vitch.
Randy. So yeah, that's all I've been watching.
Cool. I went to the movie theater to check out Greta this weekend, which was okay. It's got Chloe Grace Moretz in it and Micah Monroe. And it's basically about this older lady who leaves purses around New York City with a return address and phone number on it, and she basically just waits for people to find these purses and hopefully return them to her rightfully, and then she strikes up conversation with them and sort of befriends them, and then her true intentions, as they're shown to you throughout the movie, are kind of nefarious. But she seems harmless up front. It's kind of like a weird, quirky B movie, and they kind of go. They take like notes from People Under the Stairs almost, like not fully, but they kind of dance around a theme like that. But they don't. Like, there's multiple opportunities in this movie to really like cash in on what it's about and make it carry more weight than it does, and they just sort of like softball everything. They don't really like.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, they don't really lean into the premise itself, and I feel like they don't. It's sort of the first half of the movie is more or less like almost a stalker situation, and they just don't. Yeah. They don't seem to like give the seriousness of what's happening in the movie like it's full weight. Like there's these crazy things are happening, and there's so many witnesses, and like, you know, Chloe Grace Moretz goes to the cops, and they're just like, "Yep, can't do nothing for you." Like, why? Why? It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. It was okay. I would give like a soft recommend. Maybe wait for a red box or something like that. I also watched The Treehouse, which is the March.
Oh, I watched that too.
You did? It's the March release of Into the Dark on Hulu. It's I guess it's somehow related to St. Patrick's Day because all these are supposed to be loosely related to a holiday, but I wouldn't really. I don't really see how that's like possible.
Monthly, it's International Women's Day is this month, and it's a very
true.
Yeah,
women empowering sort of deal.
Maybe that's it then. Yeah. So it's not great.
It's not good.
It's not good. Yeah.
We didn't like it. No.
Yeah.
Where's the International Men's Day? Let me just go ahead and say.
Oh boy. Like
I think it's President's Day.
I think it's called every one of our birthdays.
Obligatory. I just had to throw that out there.
Both sides, you know. No, but this movie is like it's like.
What did we say it was? Hocus Pocus?
It's like Hocus Pocus mixed with like the pithy current modern day banter of like Juno mixed with
it reminded me
a little bit of Hereditary, like the smidge of Hereditary.
It's like The Craft, but bad is
Yeah,
basically what it is.
It's like
Damn.
they make up way too many very timely and very heavy expiration date jokes in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's not great. And then fucking
The
and
witches were a little much.
yeah, there is some spoilers in this movie, so without going too deep into that, what those are, like by the end of the movie, I was a little more settled with what I saw than when I was during, I would say, like, because there were some questions that needed answering, and they answered them to a somewhat reasonable degree, I think, at the end. What do you think, Rob?
I thought it was lame. That was pretty lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but
It's sort of it undid itself in a way, and it's one of my least favorite Into the Dark episodes by far. So I don't know, which is kind of a bummer because it's got what's his face, the McPoyle from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He did a pretty decent job acting in it or whatever. I like seeing him in movies and stuff, but the story was just
that dude
kind of rough.
Cracks me up.
he's the Cooter of that film 125%.
He's kind of a typecast Cooter. He's like
he is a lot of time.
Yeah.
In Westworld, he's really not. He like at least his. I mean, we don't need to go into spoiler territory of that either. But like, but with what he's doing, the way he plays it, that actor plays it is for the most part pretty uncootery.
Yeah, I guess his role. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. He does, like the McPoyle thing. I think you're right. Like, I think he has to fight against that typecasting pretty hard.
Yeah.
And even this Cooter, even in this Treehouse movie, it's a entirely different sort of thing than you would see in Sunny in Philadelphia for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not the same kind of level. It's not the same variety of Cooter. It's a different brand.
It's not your garden Cooter at all.
No.
Your garden variety Cooter. Yeah. So probably pass on that one.
Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend. Yeah, so that's what I've been watching. Let's go ahead and get into the main event here and talk about The Farm and start off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Alrighty. The Farm from 2018, directed by Hans, Sturgensward. Sorry.
Good job.
Sorry.
I'm glad it's you and not me. I fuck up too many things.
Oh,
That's a hard one.
that's fucking hilarious.
The synopsis as given to us on IMDb is as follows. A young couple gets kidnapped and treated like farm animals after stopping at a roadside diner to eat meat. That's it.
That's an interesting way to cap that off, but it's
It's accurate.
Eat meat.
especially the way your read was very much appreciated.
Eat meat.
I wanted to lean into that there.
Eat. I always go to diners to eat meat.
Eat meat.
I'm curious. How did you guys find this movie?
Good
I can say that story.
question.
Yeah.
So we do a movie exchange night every now and then. So like we pick a topic. So like, I don't know, the topic for this time was cannibals. So I looked up a cannibal movie.
No, we talked like this is how you wound up picking this for the fucking show.
Yeah.
Because you were sitting on the couch while I was describing watching this and doing the cannibal movie exchange.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
And then Becky's like, I'm going to make you guys watch it. And we're like,
That's right.
no. And then
That happened live on this show.
It
happened
did,
on
yeah,
this
yeah.
show.
And I signed up for Patreon right then and there.
She did and ruined our lives.
Changed
Spending
our
Randy's
lives.
money.
Spend
But-
some money, man.
Yeah. So we picked that one. and
Women be shopping, right, Randy?
I picked Eating Raoul, which is
pretty dumb, like 70s.
pretty dumb 70s raunch humor thing. But, you know, it neither one of those movies left a lasting impact for me personally.
Becky,
Yeah.
did you just Google like cannibal movies to find this?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like a most recent cannibal movie I could find.
Yeah.
And I'm always a sucker for the mask look. So I was like, okay. And here we are. So
Randy, we know what's going on in the bedroom.
Holla holla.
Bah, bah.
God.
Let me get that lamb chop. This shit is it's a movie I never heard of. I was totally unaware of it. Juice, I assume the same for you.
Yeah, I
so
didn't know shit.
We're first timers here.
And looking at our Rotten Tomatoes, nobody else does either. That's why I was
Whoa,
curious.
this is gonna be
I was like,
kind of wondering their budget and like how much they made off of it.
it's like
probably
$30.
$30. Let's round table real quick and just I guess blanket recommend or not recommend, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty here. Becky, why don't you kick us off? Would you recommend The Farm?
Oh dear. Probably not. Although
No,
You made us watch it.
I enjoyed it, but I'm getting interrogated with Andy's eyes right now, so it's hard to give you an honest
I
opinion.
just want you to survive tonight.
Don't
I
embarrass
don't want
me.
I don't want the pitchforks and torches coming after you.
I'll say that there's not a lot of movies that scare me at all. Like the paranormal stuff doesn't do it for me, but like the home invasion type thing does. Like that's one thing that kind of freaks me out. Like Hush kind of freaked me out. And this movie, like it has enough plausibility, barely, but we were driving through the mountains yesterday. I'm like, I could see us getting caught on the side of the road and something terrible happening. And I could see some fucked up weirdo doing this shit. So it's a grain of salt.
It's a big old grain of salt.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not a good movie by any means, but I think the idea of it could be better. But the idea of it's like, you know, if you're interested in cannibalism and animals and, you know, cows and boobies being milked, you might like this movie.
if you're into that,
We're into that. We got a movie.
If you're way into dairy, specifically human dairy, Randy,
Human
Oh,
dick.
man.
spoilers.
Randy, would you recommend?
No.
Cool. Juice with the
Yeah.
lollipop. Would you recommend? Are you seducing me? What are you doing?
Son. What are you doing there, baby?
Oh God.
Oh, shit, he's
God.
going-
Behind the scenes YouTube.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. That's
Look up
heinous.
our YouTube.
Jesus H.
and wrote a dum dum.
Hell no, I would not recommend this movie.
Yeah, I don't think I could recommend this either. I got some lulls. I watched it and got some lulls. That's it. That's all. So take that for what you will, and let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty here. I'm going to drop that spoiler warning, and we'll do it.
Spoiler.
Dog walk this movie.
God damn.
We gonna do the damn thing. Okay.
AKA Beck for making us watch it.
So just, I guess, the plot synopsis is pretty light, really. It's just this couple is driving to a cabin or some secluded area, and they're going through the middle of
Actually,
nowhere.
they never really say where they're going.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
they
they're
were
going,
driving
and they just kept going like, "Oh, we should just push through. We should just." Push.
Yeah.
You're right. They never. They're gone
We have
somewhere.
no idea where these people are going.
They're
Not that it
driving
really
to
matters,
die.
but-
They're gonna die. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're driving through like the country. They run into like an endless supply of evil ass country bumpkin motherfuckers, and they get kidnapped and treated like farm animals, and then they die.
The first person they run into is my favorite, which
lady?
is the gnarly old lady who's
She's
just
awesome.
a huge prick for no reason. It's
Oh,
like you're
yeah.
trying to do
I
it's like you're trying to do the Camp Blood, like the Harbinger person.
Yeah.
But instead of being like, you should get out of here, young man, it's like, you're an asshole. Somebody's like, oh, you guys aren't even married, and then jerk off motion. Like, this old lady is such a dick, and there's literally zero reason. Like, she's the lead actress is like, we're trying to help you, and she's like, I didn't ask for your help. It's like, well, motherfucker, you just told them to like strap up your fucking car, jumpstart your car. And then she's like, you think he's gonna get you a house? And the fucking dude is just like sitting there with jumper cables, just taking it, just like.
He doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, like I legit like the dialogue in this movie feels like it was written by a 13-year-old who's seen like a handful of B horror movies. Like that's what I mean. It was like it was the most basic ass shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And of course the acting was terrible on top of it. But even if it had the best fucking actors, like you think he's gonna buy or build you a house? I was like, what the fuck? Build you a house? Like it just like every line made me like scratch my head. I was like, where the fuck is this coming from?
That's
Who
like-
wrote this?
That's like every Walmart parking lot has that lady in it. So I don't understand why it's such a big deal to run into her in the middle of nowhere too.
Dude, I was looking at the director's IMDb credits. Hans Sturdsward, and he's got a short from 2016 that he made for PETA, which makes perfect fucking sense.
That is literally the only trivia that I have.
Sorry. I'm blowing your shit up. It's called How to Barbecue with Pigs. I'm assuming this guy's a vegetarian or a vegan, if he really cares.
That's what this movie is. This movie is a propaganda movie for PETA, and no matter what you think about PETA, I don't think anybody would disagree that subtlety just is not their fucking thing. So
they literally do we have a spoiler?
Investments and
we dropped the spoiler,
Yeah, blow it up, Becky. Get on into it.
Oh, I was gonna say so they get to a cabin and there's a dude laying underneath their bed and they capture them and they go to this farm in cages. And there's a lot of plot holes that the cages were definitely made out of cheap plastic.
They were like dog kennels.
Yeah, which dogs get out of.
Unhinge, from the seams and just be like.
But the PETA thing for sure is they show all these women in cages with their tits being milked with cow udder devices. And then one has an infant and they fucking kill the baby. That's insane. And they also inseminate the lady in the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So
it's intense.
Those are the scenes that I think make this movie, if it is worthwhile, actually a little worthwhile, because they're very viscerally shocking, and I thought they were pretty well done for a horror conceit. I thought,
and it's very PETA-esque though.
That's it for me. That's about it. It's very brutal in a way that you don't really expect based on the quality of work you're seeing up to that point.
Yeah, but it's pretty fucked up. Someone had some fucked up thoughts.
I don't know. I guess I was so turned off. By the time we get there, the acting has been so bad. Any character we've run into is like a caricature, of anything you've ever seen in a horror movie. So by the time we get there, you see a dude grab a newborn baby and I guess throw it on the ground or whatever. But I was just such a cheap movie that there was no reaction. I wasn't even ugh, or oh my God, or literally everything from this movie, even that's supposed to shock you, has been stolen from another movie. It's PETA, like you said, PETA want to make a propaganda movie and they just literally went through and stole everything, even the udder things. I was that was done in Mad Max 4 years ago. That's not shocking. Oh my God, you have udders, or you're milking women's tits. I was there is nothing 0% original about
Get
this
off
movie.
Justin's lawn.
It is there's nothing. You can't point.
It's
to
not
anything.
meant to be original. That's the thing. This is not meant to be original. This is an attempt to mainstream the idea of, how would you like to be treated like a farm animal? Which, of course, nobody wants to.
But as a movie,
it really doesn't matter to these films. I don't think that they wanted to make something really... they're not trying to break the mold. They're trying to literally fit exactly in the mold so that they can sneak in the nougaty center of their point.
Which does not make for a very impactful movie. Once it gets going and you realize these people are being treated like farm animals and essentially by the farm animals, because all these evil cannibal people are wearing animal masks. It's very on the fucking nose. You get it. They beat you over the head with it. And as it's going, every once in a while you'll see a shocking image of a baby being spiked on the ground or this woman being inseminated or whatever. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot going on here. And thank God it's light on the dialogue, because the dialogue that is here, whenever sort of the guy who's kind of running the show with the crooked mouth or whatever, he runs the whole thing. The way he delivers lines is terrible. It's so bad.
Really? I found
that guy good.
Him specifically.
I don't think it was. I wouldn't say it qualified as good, but I kind of liked watching that guy do his shit.
It was weird. He wasn't wearing a mask either.
Right.
Also, this is a practicality wise, the mask thing is not great.
Yeah.
You can't see, and apparently you're not allowed to speak or even grunt in pain when you get stabbed through the foot or some shit that happens to somebody.
Well, no peripheral vision. Those people got away with a lot because their peripheral vision was fucked.
It's fucking, and also I'm pretty sure those might be even the exact same masks from your next. They might be.
Yeah,
they literally look like they were picked up from a dollar store. That's the kind of mask we're talked about.
Which, isn't necessarily like a bad thing, as we've seen. It's just how you use it, which they, of course, use it poorly.
Also, none of this makes a lick of sense. Like the whole twist where like Crooked Mouth is talking on the phone. He's like, they use the meat to like cater events. That's the whole thing. Like, it's not like Texas Chainsaw where they're like poor, like crazy ass fan where they're like eating people to survive. It's like, no, we're like we're making lasagna. And I was like, this is so fucking dumb. Like, it's what?
It's what we do to the pigs and the cows and the chickens, Justin.
Oh my God, this movie's terrible. It's like barely a movie. I was blown away by the time I got to an hour and I was like, this is the movie. This is it. This is what this is the time. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's short as fuck. Also, this movie, like for all
so long.
Whether or not you like those brutal moments, it almost doesn't matter because everything else is so deeply padded with unnecessary. Like, how many walk behind shots are there in this movie?
And they're like 2 minutes long.
6, and they walk all the way the fuck across this farm multiple times and like hand things to each other, and they don't speak. So there's not even a conversation. They're not even Sorkining.
I gotta mention real quick, the first time they do that whole like long panning shot across the farm, it cracked me up because there's certain people who might want to hide their identity, so it gives them reason to wear masks because they're like face to face with these people that they're torturing and carving. Point. But then like throughout the rest of the farm, there's people just like walking their dogs or having a sit, under a tree, taking a nap. But they're all wearing masks for no reason. Like, it cracked me up. It's like, it's just no reason for these people to wear
I guess you could say that they tried to explain that as a religious thing, but that goes against the only thing that holds up in this movie, which is their very obvious point, because people don't eat lasagna with beef in it because it's a religious rite. Like, that's not why people eat meat necessarily. So it doesn't even really make sense. And yeah, like you see like a woman with a mask walk up to a man with a mask who's sweeping or some shit and sort of lovingly dote on him for a second without speaking, of course. And we're supposed to be like, okay, so they're like this everywhere and all the fucking time for a reason that we will never know and don't care about.
Yeah, it just
also random. You could never make enough money to have a human farm. It's so dumb. Like the amount of meat, like they impregnate people so they can milk women's tits. It's like the amount of money you would have to invest in that equipment is not just go buy milk for $3 like in the fucking
that's
store. I know the point. It just
no, that's practically. I don't think that's a practical problem because the assumption I made anyway, which isn't explicitly said. So whatever. But the assumption that I made was that this is like Texas Chainsaw. This was a cattle farm that has fallen on hard times. So they started picking up hitchhikers, which is the part that holds together. And it's what the reason it holds together. It holds together really well because it's a fucking well-trod territory at this point. Like,
except that there's like 20 people living on this farm. It's like they've got this racket going, and it's like that's not practical at all.
And
like
everybody who stays in that barn or stays in those cabins gets ate up. I don't know.
They feed them like baked beans or some shit. Oh my god,
corn,
slop,
cream corn.
There's kind of another pretty brutal scene in here where one of the women that I guess has been captured and held there for several years, she could no longer become pregnant, so they just kind of they slit her throat and bleed her, and then like slit her stomach, and all of her guts just fall out. It's one of the more brutal scenes in the movie. Anyway, it's
it is.
It's
tough. I don't know, man. And it's not even because like I'm desensitized or anything like that. I think it was just this movie was so bad and so dumb in its practicality and its dialogue being complete shit and its $30 Crystalberg fucking budget that like I was just watching it with the blankest stare. Like I just like I was
What
just
is
like, nothing.
Crystalberg budget?
It's like the $30 like crystal sack. It popped into my mind. Like it's probably what
$30 worth of
I think
crystals.
PETA would resent you saying.
feeding people on set. It's like, here's your soggy Crystalberg, bitches. Get back to work.
I don't think Crystalberg is in this set. Eating Amy's organics only.
It just was just the biggest turd, man. Like, so my point was even like, yeah, like you see somebody like getting their guts cut out. I just like, it did nothing. Just the blankest of stares. Like, I cannot wait. Oh, I got 15 more minutes of this shit. Like, let's move it along.
It was a short movie. It was like 80 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Still so
and it was
long.
still too long. It was still too long because they like even those brutal moments. Even if you like those, you're only like it's surrounded by fluff, and the fluff isn't even really like working towards anything productive. Like they could have done a lot more with these characters to make them relatable for starters, or give them something to talk about besides wanting to not be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, wanting to not be eaten.
Yeah.
There's no relatability or even like sympathy or even like people don't even react properly. Like even like a baby getting spiked on the ground. Everybody's just like, oh, it's like there's
I will say this. I thought that the other two or the other women, the woman who was sort of explaining to our lead actress like what was going on and like the other milk cow, so to speak. I thought she did like her monologue was all right. Like it was like, okay,
it was the best actress.
That stood out to me. Yeah, that's what stood out to me. She's like, because she like all it takes is just being so fucking over life because your life sucks so many dicks. Yeah. So I mean, I want to give her props because I thought that was okay. Yeah, that's pretty brutal life. You're explaining it in such a way that I could see that believably, but like the main characters, the people who we hinge everything on, are not characters really. They're archetypes, if anything, and they're not really archetypes of much.
Barely.
Yeah.
Well, and also there's another girl who's like been there like two. So the one girl like who can't get pregnant anymore or whatever, who does a like decent job. She's been there like 2 years. Oh, I've been here 2 years, and she's just like completely given up. There's another girl who's been there like 2 weeks, and she's also just completely given up. It's like what? Like 2 weeks? Like. It just doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't.
What I don't understand is why, like the dudes in the cages, like the men in those cages, they could very easily escape that fucking dog kennel. But
also,
not only
the gags that they have on them, like their hands are free. They just take the gag off, but they don't. I don't know. But there is one dude that there's like a straight up, just like dead center dong shot that's like bam right there.
You can see taint
dong
clear as day.
Dong in your face. I don't know, so at least it's got that going for it. Plus half a star for
you
taint.
Can see
taint
the
and dong.
whole goddamn valley.
Bam. The dusty peach. You get it all. I don't know. Becky, we're kind of railing on this movie. I don't want to like just rail on it. Do you agree or disagree or like have any like different opinions or
what do you think?
I agree. It's not a good movie for sure. I think it's not well acted and stuff, but I don't know. I think like at the end, the escape scene in terms of movies, like she does pretty good compared to other movies of like her boyfriend she finds her boyfriend and they like try to run away. And then he gets like eaten by a bear trap and she's like, bye. And But that's like, most movies they'd be like, oh my God, and stay. And then they'd get kidnapped again or whatever. But she makes a good attempt to leave. That's one thing. There was like one guy who tells her where the key is, somehow knows where the key is. He's like, oh, go in, and he's in a cage. And she's like, how do I get out? And he's like, go into his office. And in the third drawer down, there's a key or whatever. And she does that. And there is the key. Doesn't make much sense. But
I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, how much money people spend on prisons because the will of the human spirit to revolt when imprisoned is pretty fucking strong. I don't see these people staying in their dog kennels that long. I don't see them not fraternizing and trying to find a way out together.
$20 on Amazon. That's all it takes.
I just feel like they're like too scared to do it, you know, like getting caught
but like they're all individually scared, but they're very clearly like people break out of maximum security prisons and shit.
Yeah, they also get like hit on the head and stuff, so they might be like,
and that also that bothers me too. Is that our lead guy, like the male counterpart to our lead actress, he gets railed on the head with a fucking sledgehammer and then just appears back into the mix and saves her.
Yeah, there was no reason to even show that because you're right. I think that he's fine.
I think that what they were doing was saying, okay, so they think he's dead, so they put him on the corpse pile. So that gives him the opportunity to escape. But you don't walk away from a fucking sledgehammer to the head. You just don't.
Also, that was so dumb because you're right. They had their hands clear. So the way that they do it is they like put like a pole in where they loop your neck, but your hands are free. You can just push it away. No. You do it with your hands. Just I'm going to go into and push it away. Nope. Don't. And same thing with a sledgehammer. You like guard your head. Like you, I don't, it's so dumb.
I want to
even visually, like they hook them from the top of the cage. But they open the top of the cage. Even then, you could like pop up, like hit them in the face, do anything. You could do anything.
Honestly, you could. If I'm the Marquis de Sade trying to keep people in a people farm because I'm a monster, I'm not putting them in fucking dog kennels. You put a fucking steel loop in the ground. You put a couple of a long handcuff in there and a neck brace so that they can't really even do like sit like crisscross applesauce. They can't do anything. That's what you do. Like
Tell us more, Randy.
Makes the point better. That makes the point even better though, because that's more similar to what they do to cows and shit. They like pin them up so that they can't physically even move where they are. Like that to me, that just. I don't know. I just like it. Logistically speaking, it literally doesn't make sense.
It's almost like they were like, we can't afford a steel loop because even like as us, we could be better movie directors right now. Like they literally went down to the Walmart and they bought dollar mask and they bought $10 cheap ass kennels. And that's how this movie was made. This movie was funded at Walmart. This is where the budget was spent. It was.
Okay, the estimated budget was $5 million.
What was that spit on? Where, location?
The Crystal Burgers, Justin.
God, oh my God. Somebody did not get their money's worth. Like literally those kennels, anything in this scene, they couldn't have paid these actors more than like $10,000 a piece. None of them are worth dog shit to do anything.
Wow. God.
They're not.
Cattle. Murder them fuckers. Murder. Eat them alive.
I cannot imagine what you would spend $5 million on in this movie. Nobody should have got paid more than $5,000. The fucking kennels were $10 a piece. The masks were $1 a piece. And the location, I guess they had to rent that shit out. I mean, and the cameras, that's like maybe $1 million.
I feel like this movie was underwritten by PETA, or at least a bunch of PETA people. And I assumed based on that and based on the director's history that a lot, if not all of the actors were doing it pro bono because they believed in the cause or whatever. That's what I assumed. And if it's a $5 million budget, they're definitely getting paid something. But I agree. I don't know that they're like, I can't imagine they're getting paid more than a paltry sum. There are a lot of them, but they didn't need a lot of them. If they're like, I don't know. Why not use that money? Like, use doubles, use the same person in a different mask and different shirt. Like you can do that and then save that extra money and put it towards a metal loop in the ground. I don't know. Like, put it towards thinking through the script. Like the point is so smack in your face, fucking obvious what they're trying to say, but they neglect all the like details that make it believable, especially in the acting category and personability category. I don't know, man.
This movie is so bad it just showed you that even the guy who ran the budget did a bad job. Like they probably, you know, where that $5 million was probably spent. They probably actually like bought that blue bus. They didn't lease it. They didn't rent it. Somebody bought that bus. Somebody like it's like, oh my God, $5 million. This movie looks like it was made like on a cheap like camping weekend. Like just.
I want to say though, this, like, as far as the camera work and cinematography, I thought it was fine. I don't think that was the, like, we're digging through shit to find gold here, so bear with me. But I think that the way that it was shot for the most part, considering what they had to work with, was all right. And like there was too many walk behind shots, but that's my biggest complaint in terms of like blocking and shit like that crap stuff. But like, I don't know, like it doesn't, negate anything, but credit where it's due, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's just pretty on the nose, and it's if you're someone who has seen a lot of horror movies, it probably won't shock and surprise you. But if you haven't, it probably will, because there really is some shocking shit in here. We're just kind of jaded, I think. But it could have been worse for sure. They had a fucking message, and they just beat you over the head with it, much like the sledgehammers used in the film. So that's.
But nothing's going through there.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on before we rate this thing?
What do you think, Beck?
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and rate it out of 5. Becky, would you like to kick us off? This was your movie. How you feeling?
I'd probably give it like a 2 or so. I still liked it. All right. So, yeah.
All right. 2 out of 5. Randy, how you feeling?
Yeah, I was hovering in the 1.5 to 2 category. Like I said, I think that the camera work in this is pretty okay. I think that I was entertained by some of the performances, even though I know they're not great performances. It was really just the older lady and Slackjaw, whatever his name is. I have we've gone through the problems ad nauseum. I think that really the problem is there's not much of a fucking arc in this movie. Also, here's another thing that I thought that was a problem with this movie. You immediately know it's a cannibal movie because in every description on every platform it says a cannibal movie. You know it's about 2 people like traveling on the back roads who get caught by some farm family, and the poster is literally the last shot of the movie.
I was going to say that from Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. The poster is the last shot. So there's nothing to even spoil.
By the way, and yeah, it's not a spoiler, but I just want to point out that poster is what do you call that shit? Fucking The Last Supper recreated with people in fucking animal masks and a couple of like people like spitted pigs sitting on like our lead actress and the other escapee sitting on a fucking table as they recreate The Last Supper. And I'm like, my God, the self-piety. Please.
And they didn't even like make that point well. It literally was just the last shot.
Sense. It's just
and
like this will be cool.
Yeah, and at one point there's kind of a church, but never, since they're a catering company, they never delve into the fact that maybe like that would make kind of some more sense or be kind of more interesting. Like, oh, these people do it for religious purposes, but no, they even fucked that up. They were just like, oh, we're gonna make The Last Supper, and it's dumb. It's just like, what the fuck is this? The Last Supper? What?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But I thought that the brutal scenes were viscerally effective, even though they weren't well set up and weren't well earned, and they were padded so poorly. But and then like I said, the walk behind shots for some reason was a nitpick for me that stuck out. So yeah, there are problems with this movie, but for those reasons, I would give it a 2, I think.
Okay. 2 from Randy Gandy G. Laney. Justin, how you feeling out of 5?
Not good, Bob. Not good. I know this is taboo. I know it is.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
I can't not.
He's gonna do it.
I can't not give this movie a 0. It's getting a nothing stars. There's nothing.
And nothing stars.
There is nothing good about this movie. saying that the camera work is okay that's not okay. Like we gave Ghost of Mars like 5. Like that movie was like a professionally shot and had effects movie. This movie,
the effects were terrible. I think this camera work is much better.
Okay, no, this movie is dog shit in any capacity, and not only that. It's just, and I don't even care about like the PETA message or whatever. Like that's fine. Like I honestly don't care. But there is nothing original about this movie. It literally feels like somebody like just stole shit from other people. Like it's like they didn't hire somebody to write this movie. Somebody just offered to write this movie who's not a writer. Like, so they didn't hire actors to act this movie. Somebody just acted this movie. Like none of this feels professional in any capacity. None of it. It feels amateur as fuck, and not even like amateur with potential, like a short, like a student film or something. It's just dog shit completely all around. So it's getting a 0 for me. I can't think of one redeemable thing. There's not cool music. There's not cool like dialogue or effects or anything original. The twist doesn't make any fucking sense. The last shot doesn't make any fucking sense. There is nothing that I could think of that I had any positive response to in this movie. Zero stars.
Not even the Yabos, Justin? Not even a 0.5 for the dick even? 0.5 for the dick?
Were there Yabos?
I mean, kind of. Like, they're getting milked or whatever. I don't know.
Jesus.
That's like there weren't even Yabos. You can't even try to count a 0.5.
I don't know all your fucking rules, man. I'm just asking questions.
Okay.
I'm just asking questions.
No, nah. Jump in, Bob.
So I've got like an alternate interpretation of the message of this movie. Like you think it's obviously like PETA, meat is murder, whatever. But maybe they're really just trying to advertise that, like, what if Jesus Christ was a cannibal and that's how he got his superpowers? He ate people and then he was able to walk on water and turn water into wine and shit. What if that's what they're trying to say?
What? I don't know where you think that.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Jesus
I
Christ
actually
isn't a
thought
cannibal?
you were kind of going somewhere with it, because I mean they do talk about like the Last Supper and eating like flesh and shit, but then you really kind of went off the rails there.
Obviously a pretty bad joke. Got it.
Yeah. I'm confused.
It was a joke.
Yeah, I don't seriously think that at all. No, I'm going to give this movie a 1.5. There's not a whole lot going on for it other than like some...
Where does that value come from?
Let me tell you. There's a couple pretty shocking moments. I think I said this when you stepped away for a moment. But there are like some truly shocking moments in this movie. I think they probably weren't that shocking to us, probably because we talk about horror movies every week. We see a lot of crazy stuff. And like maybe if we hadn't seen this like crazy baster scene in other movies, it would have carried a little more weight in this one. And it still is jarring. Like watching a baby get thrown on the ground is jarring. So there's like some scares, there's some gore. I actually did like the music, like in the beginning shot of the movie where they're sort of driving down the street. I thought the music was actually kind of neat. So I don't know. It's a 1.5. I still don't really recommend it necessarily, but there's some pretty funny parts with like the evil ass country folk. That was probably my favorite part of the movie. Like as they're driving through the country, they run into that old lady, and then they go in the diner and they order burgers, and their waitress just treats them like complete pieces of trash. I thought that was pretty funny. So there's like some value in that to me, I guess. Country people are evil. Jesus is a cannibal. Yeah. This is what I've learned from this film. Also, meat is murder. I think we're all walking away from this learning a thing or two about ourselves. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Aggregate's going to be a 1.4. Justin, you can stop shaking your head at me whenever you want. There it is. Let's go ahead and get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and talk about what the users and critics think of The Farm.
Certified fresh to death.
Take it away, dog.
All right. Well, we're not doing good here. There's no critic consensus because there's no critic reviews. Nobody wants to review this dog shit of a movie. There's literally not a single critic review for The Farm. So let's go ahead and hop into our audience score. a user rating. This has to be like a monumental moment on Straight Shot. I've never seen such. 58. 58 people have taken the time to rate The Farm on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's go around the table and try to guess what those 58 people thought of this movie. Let's start with Randy. Randy, what do you think the user score on this movie is?
Oh, God. That's such a weird... I don't know. I got to think that some of those people are involved with the movie, maybe.
Probably all of them.
I'm just going to go a steady 50 and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's a good strat. Becky.
30.
30. And Robert.
69, please.
69. Becky's going to steal it away. Even the people who worked on this movie, who took the time to review it, all 58 of them, didn't care for this movie. It's a whopping 21% out of our 58 user rating score.
Jeez.
This is a sad day. This is a sad day. We're reaching new lows. Yeah. So that's all I got. There's literally nothing else. Nobody has like written a written review for me to read. Nobody. There's nothing. There's no quotes. It's just a blank page that at one point says audience score 21%, user rating 58, and that is it.
On IMDb,
It's just a 404.
It has a tagline here that says, "In this place, you're the main dish," which I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh
yeah, the tagline on this poster with that gives away the last scene is "They're dying to meet you."
I love that one. I love that one. There is one.
It takes all kind of critters to meet you.
I want that on a shirt.
Tons more than the movie.
There's one user review written on IMDb here. It's 3 out of 10. It says, obviously an anti-meat industry film, slow, boring, and little value. As far as horror films go, some gore, some shock value. Pass if you're looking for something that keeps you on the edge of your seat. So, that's it.
You know, one, I will say, since I just completely shat all over this movie, I will say one thing positive. It's not enough to give it any kind of value as a movie, but I did like that one shot, and it was pretty creepy, and it kind of reminded me of Trick or Treat a little bit, where they get on the bus, and she turns around, and everybody is, like, sitting on the bus.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, that was, like, had, like, a creepy feel to it. Like, I was like, oh, shit, like, that's a bad spot to be. But then they immediately pan out to the Last Supper shot, and I was like, oh my Lord, oh Lord,
Lord, holy Lord,
oh Lord,
praise Cannibal Jesus,
praise Cannibal Lord. All right,
let's talk Cooters real quick.
Cooter of the week.
So I mean, gracious, take your pick at this point, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no people to say of it. It's like, what is Crooked Mouth's name? Well, does that dude have a name? Was it?
I don't think they ever say it. Nobody else speaks, so who could say like, "Hey, Rick, how's it going?"
It's just,
like,
I mean, let's go.
Speaking role is that redheaded dude who's like mentally challenged or something.
Oh yeah,
and who plays it like Simple Jack in fucking Tropic Thunder.
His name is just Landlord. He's just Landlord.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Landlord, I mean, I guess by default, I mean, the dude's definitely a cooter. I mean, he's milking titties for profit, but what's he gonna hit on the scale? He's a country bumpkin, so we could give him a scotch on a tire. He looks dirty and like he doesn't shower, and he's got like one of his ears like burned off or something. I mean, that was kind of a thing. And he's got this weird crooked mouth and wily ass teeth. And what else? He milks titties for profit, and he tries to run a catering company. He's manipulative. He treats all his like people like shit.
Smug arrogance.
A little bit. Yeah. He's kind of default the only person in this film. So
yeah.
running this cannibal farm.
Him and all of his helpers, they're all cooters.
He looks
really.
super sweaty and moist. He looks like a McPoyle.
He
He's a
probably
moist man.
drinks the warm titty milk. Gross.
Yeah, aren't they like drinking it at one point? Somebody's drinking
The
it.
redheaded dude
Yeah.
is drinking it, which I think, to me, if you got to pick a cooter of the week, I think it's him. But
Well, the only reason I would sway away from him is because he plays it, or they play it, as if he is like mentally handicapped, whereas the other guy at least like
faculty
seems to know what he's doing at all times, where the other dude like has like fits of like tantrums where he like loses control and shit. So, I mean, that's the only reason, but you could go either way.
you could even like, this is not cooter talk, but I just realized that guy, the catering company guy, or the landlord, I guess is his name, he looks a lot like the hitchhiker from fucking Texas Chainsaw. Actually, his haircut, his build, he's got sort of a long face. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily intentional, but I'm like, there are so many goddamn similarities. There's just one more to add to the pile.
What was that movie that like came out in the early 2000s that was kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it was like in the
No
woods?
Vacancy? Oh no.
No, I mean, I'm not in the woods. It was like in the kind of mountains. They're like mountain folk instead.
Wrong Turn?
Was it Wrong Turn?
I think so.
Yeah, and they like do the bear trap. Like, this movie felt like somebody watched the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003 or whatever, and then watched that movie and watched like Human Centipede 2. Because even the baby smashing thing, we're like, oh, that was so visceral. Like, they do the exact same thing in like Human Centipede 2, I think, which is also a terrible movie. So to steal from that movie is
I've never
like,
seen that. But
yeah, well, yeah. So
I don't
like
think they have the copyright on murdering in infanticide.
Well, no, I know. It's just I felt like every scene I saw from this movie was like taken from something else, like literally like taken. So I was like, okay, this feels like this. And all of them are bad movies. That was the thing about this bad movie. It's like it seems like they stole all the scenes from other bad movies. And I was like, well,
Texas Chainsaw is not the original anyway.
Well, no, it felt more like the
premise.
remake one, though. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I think that their priority wasn't like, I think they did probably like they definitely did like steal very well defined tropes in a lot of cases. I don't want to take away from the brutality of those scenes though, because for all the talk of it being too fluffy around that stuff and too much dead air, basically, those scenes work almost because of that in some ways. Like Human Centipede 2 I've never seen it, but I got to assume that there's like a throat slash a minute sort of situation, you know, like it's a very like deeply gory movie as I understand it. And this movie but it doesn't like do that constantly. So when it does happen, you're anticipating it in some way, anticipating something happening. And then that's what you get. So I think it works better because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's the thing too. I think I gave The Mummy Tom Cruise a 0.5, maybe a 1, and I would rather watch the Mummy over this movie. If somebody
watching either of these movies,
if somebody gave me a choice, I would have watched Tom Cruise, and I hate fucking Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise stains. That's your namesake. Your namesake, Randy. So I blew your trivia up, right? No more trivia.
Yeah, but there was similarly no trivia or any extra details on IMDb beyond the actors' names and so forth.
I wish we could get a budget report. I gotta know what they spent this money on.
We'll never know. We'll never know. I got some news. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Extra. Read all about it.
News. So our fellas from SpectraVision, they got a new movie coming out. It made its premiere at South by Southwest this week. It's a movie called Daniel Isn't Real. So the synopsis is a story of a traumatized 8-year-old named Luke who invents an imaginary friend named Daniel who leads them both into a world of fantasy and imagination. Daniel tricks Luke into doing something terrible. Luke is forced to lock him away. 12 years later, Luke brings Daniel back, and now he appears as a charming, manipulative young man with a terrifying secret agenda. So this is something that hopefully it'll get a wide release sometime later on this year, especially like Spectrovision and Elijah Wood and all those folks. They're hot off Mandy from last year, so I don't know. They kind of got a lot of steam going. Hopefully they're able to carry that through with this next joint.
Getting too big for their britches, huh?
I don't know. I guess it remains to be seen. Yeah. They made some pretty solid movies and some pretty strange movies, specifically The Greasy Strangler. I was not a fan of. God in heaven.
I still need to see that.
That's a weird movie.
From what I've seen of it, yeah, I think so.
So if you're into a lot of old man dong, that's right up your alley.
Ooh.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
How did you? I feel zeroed in out. Here.
Randy, looking at you, Randy. I know what you like. Anyway, keep your eyes peeled for Daniel Isn't Real. Also, if you can make it to South by Southwest, March 13th, they're showing it at Alamo Lamar. Put your eyeballs on it. Next bit of news. Alexander Aja's next movie is coming out this year. It actually the release date got bumped up. It's a movie called Crawl, and it's going to be released on July 12th, 2019, instead of in August as it was originally slated to come out. We talked about this before on the show. I don't know if you guys remember or not. It's about a young woman who tries to save her father during a Category 5 hurricane, and she gets trapped inside of a flooding house and has to fight alligators, which I'm into.
Oh, yeah, I remember you bringing that up.
Yeah.
That does not sound scary to me.
I don't...
Sounds like Tuesday.
I don't know if it's going to be like super scary, but his movies always seem to be very just like gory and gut wrenching in some way. Like I don't know. Yeah, I guess like alligators aren't particularly scary, but I could see how it could be like a pretty cool thriller, unless there's like some sort of weird twist on it where the gators have like lasers on their heads or something.
I think to us too, like from Florida. Like, like gators just seem like super lazy. They're always just kind of like lounging around on the golf course. It's like they never seem like, yeah, you wouldn't want to be swimming around in like alligator infested waters, but they're always just they seem pretty chill, honestly.
Unless you have a dog, in which case they will eat your dog.
They will.
Yeah.
They're quick. They're deceptively fast as fuck. They're either like not moving or they're hauling ass. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for that. I like.
They don't even seem like big like predators either. It's like something gets in their way and they like pop up and snap. So them like infesting a house, I don't know. It just seems weird.
Yeah, they hungry. They hungry.
Like it doesn't, like with shark movies, like sharks like kind of hunt, they got that like the smell and the sonar and shit, and they're like hone in. Gators just, I don't know, man. They just seem to kind of wait until something kind of strolls along.
Really, all they do is play college football. That's all I
know. Go Gators.
Gator bait. Gator bait. Oh, shit. The last bit of news I have here is regarding the likelihood of Happy Death Day 3. Jason Blum was recently... Randy, look alive, Randy. Jason Blum was recently doing a Q&A session via Twitter a few nights ago. And somebody asked him about the likelihood of that movie happening. And he just very quickly responded, short and sweet here. He's just said... Not very likely, but not impossible. So, Randy, your dreams are probably coming true here.
Not the news I was anticipating.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. I assume that movie made enough money.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Oh, actually, so this is from a few days ago. So it made 125 million worldwide. So
good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah.
I wonder how much they spent on that.
I mean, when a horror movie drops in South Korea, like on its release date, it usually, is a signal that they expect it to make money. Because sometimes horror movies like don't drop until after they've proved that they were successful, so like usually like It drops and like Us is coming, like the ones that they already know are going to make money. So I assumed like Happy Death Day 2 was just like kind of guaranteed to make the bank.
Actually, I said that incorrectly. So the first movie made 125 million worldwide. The second movie made 50 million, which is still a profit, but comparatively pretty poor.
Yeah. Okay.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, and if that trend would continue, they would potentially end up losing money or just barely making anything on a third.
Okay. So that makes sense then.
I really hope that they do make it and we get the continuing adventures of the slightly effeminate Dean with a cat.
Honestly, I'd watch it. I like the Dean. I like the big dumb Dean. I'm into it.
I'd watch it, but I also like don't know how many more scenes I can take of her reliving the same day. It's like, okay.
I feel like if they do a third one, they're going to pull an Insidious Last Key sort of situation where it's just a whole new cast with the similar situation.
Oh, that'd be terrible. That'd be such a bad idea.
I mean, it's going to be terrible regardless. I'm sorry to tell you.
Randy, agree to disagree. I want to see The Farm 2.
Biggest drama of the year so far.
The Farm 2, Keep Farming, Cannibal Christ. I want to see it.
Cannibal Christ. That's a great subtitle, actually.
Yeah, actually, good job, Bob.
Band
you
name.
should write and direct this next movie. It would be an improvement.
You got nowhere to go, buddy.
PETA, write me a blank check and I'll make you the greatest film of all time. The Farm 2, Cannibal Christ.
Dude, you give me that $5 million, I'll make you a film.
No, we'll just never see you again. We'll never see or hear from you again.
Archival footage of you getting on a sailing away.
Just waving. me eating chicken wings.
A huge turkey leg.
Giant sack with a dollar sign on it.
Slamming
the biggest
Crystal
turkey
burgers.
leg I could find.
I said, see ya.
See you, Peter.
I said, see ya.
Thanks for your money, bitch.
Your money. That's about all I had for the news, except for I already mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but the Entity is getting that Blu-ray release via Scream Factory. It's supposed to be released on June 11th, 2019. Region A only. Sorry, all you mother truckers in the UK and elsewhere. It's going to be Canada and US only, unless you got that region-free player, son.
Fuck you guys. In your regions.
Fuck all your regions. That you're talking to yourself, by the way.
Yeah. Fuck me.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get into our voicemail segment here this evening. Hotline Scream, aka voicemails from a place I like to call The Further. We got just one voicemail to tackle this evening. It is from our lovely friend Chad. Let's go ahead and hear what Chad has to say for himself. Here we go.
Hey, man, it's Chad. Definitely the best soundbite from last week's episode was Justin saying, was the vomit from a super hot chick. Changed my mind.
Chad, I can't change your mind. Maybe Justin can. I don't know.
No, I agree. I'm probably the best part of the last show.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You're never going to get Justin to disagree with being correlated with the best of anything.
So really,
it's so rare for him.
Same as every week. No, yeah, I am the best of the show. That's me. Yes, of course. Yeah, I don't know. So if you're wondering what the fuck Chad's talking about, we reviewed Audition a couple weeks ago. And we gave a would you rather situation, and the would you rather spend 24 hours in a sack, or would you rather eat a bowl of someone's vomit? And Justin asked the question, well, gee, I don't know, is the vomit from a super hot chick? Because that would somehow make it taste better. Fucking Justin.
I don't know. I mean, to maintain beauty, you got to keep a pretty, healthy diet and stuff like that. So, I mean, it could affect it, Bob. It could.
That's the sweetest bile I ever did taste. I tell you what.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a clarifying question, I mean, yeah. I think it's fair.
You're really trying to just envision it. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, you really got to zone in on the general attractiveness of the vomiter.
Yeah, you're asking the tough questions. over here at Straight Chilling.
Questions nobody
everybody else is
should
scared to ask. You know, that's all.
We are. We're very frightened.
Yeah. I'm afraid to find out what this woman is.
Hot chicks.
Remember when we talked
vomit.
about mushing boogers together like gushers?
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
That wasn't the best line, somehow? I've started doing it. Not that bad.
I wonder what my best line of this cast was. Let us know, Chad. And next hotline scrum.
It was probably the audible shitting of your pants when you found out how much this movie cost to make. What?
Doo-doo brown shorts.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another would you rather based on this movie. I'm not coming up with much. You could eat like human.
Would you rather have your tits milked or
eat human meat? I don't know.
I don't know.
So a clarifying question. I know there was like that one movie where people were cannibals, but if they were cannibals, they like got the shakes or something. Is that real? Like if we were to eat human meat, would it affect us in a negative way?
Oh, buddy, that's hilarious that you're asking that question.
What?
Probably
like no, man.
No,
it's not like heroin. What do you think?
Well, no. But there was, God, what was that? Do you guys
it's
know what I'm
called
talking
We
about?
Are What We Are. I think.
I've never seen this.
Yeah,
but
we watched it together, Randy.
I don't think that's the movie I'm talking about.
Oh.
Mine was kind of like a post-apocalyptic
I don't
movie.
think I watched that movie.
Huh.
And there was like a sign there, like and they gave like the only reason I ask, and like I could be a fool. I'm not saying that I'm not. That's why I'm clarifying the question. It was something about like something in like the human meat that we like produce a lot of. So it's like a scientific thing, and like it's started to kind of like turn their like fingernails a little black. So it's like if you had like too much of it, like we produce something in our bodies that if you ate nothing but human meat, that and so it started to like break them down in like some way. So it could be complete bullshit. And since I can't think of the movie, I can't really give any kind of argument for it.
Well, that sounds like something. It sounds very Infowar of you.
Dude,
but
that's
I
totally
can't confirm or deny.
That is from the movie We Are What We Are. It's not a post-apocalyptic movie, so it's regarding. Yeah, it is, dude. It's regarding something called Kuru disease, which is associated with cannibalism, and it's similar to Parkinson's disease. So I guess it is like a real. I guess it's a real thing.
Boom! Yeah, boy, soju.
Yeah, I don't know.
Congratulations on knowing a thing.
But it's like I think the movie I'm talking about has like Denzel Washington in it or something.
Oh, are you talking about? I don't. The only post-apocalyptic film of his I can think of is Book of Eli.
Maybe something like that, where like they're strolling around and he's with like some young girl and he's like, "Don't talk to them" or whatever, and like they're trying to feed her like meat or something, and it's like really gross, and their like fingernails are kind of black, but not like So I think so. Yeah, it does make you shake or whatever. All right,
might be. I can't remember that film well enough, but they may have brought that up in that movie.
Okay, so it
especially
is
if it's a real event. Then
don't eat people.
Chances are it's more than a movie.
Don't eat people. It is it's a rare incurable disease, invariably fatal, formerly common among the Fori people of Papua New Guinea, caused by the transmission of abnormally folded proteins, which leads to symptoms such as tremors, loss of coordination, and degeneration. No, I was just making it a different word. And there's terrible pictures on Wikipedia, so just keep that in mind if you want to go to Wikipedia.
Yeah, see, Randy thought I was being foolish over here.
I sure did.
You damn fool!
You thought you were being foolish.
I thought it was possible. I was open to the possibility.
If you had brought it up as this is true, then I would have been like, really? Okay. But you were not even sure, and it sounded pretty fucking dubious to me.
I heard you could get Kuru disease from eating Crystal Burgers, too.
Cheap Crystal Soggy Bergs.
Yep.
Kuru never Christ. Eat a whole sack full. Your shit turns black.
Band name Kuru Christ. I'm into it. So that's
riding
it.
that Chrysler train pretty hard.
Sorry. That's it for the voicemails this week. If you want to call and leave us a voicemail, we'll play it on the show. The number you can reach us at is 904-638-3231. Call us. Let us know how much we suck.
Amply.
Yes.
We're a little early this week. You guys want to gush over Midsummer trailer?
We
yeah.
can't.
Or is
I
it
only
pronounced summer? Or I don't know how
It's
it's
pronounced midsummer, yeah, but it's
It is pronounced
Midsummer.
midsummer. Okay.
Summer. Yeah,
Summer.
it looks dope.
It does.
One thing or a couple of things that I like about the potential of it is like with Hereditary was a pretty dark movie, like functionally, like actually dark.
Yeah.
And whereas this one, it's all bright scenes, and even playing off that, like the name, and I like that idea of creating this horror movie, this really creepy or potentially creepy horror cult movie in the light. You know, I think that's like a cool. Like that aesthetic, and even using the bright colors with the flowers and kind of wrapping it around like summer and spring and stuff like that. Like that's cool to me. I don't know. That was something that really,
I think that's the most appealing aspect of it, because the rest of it could be sort of like paint by numbers.
Sure.
Like cult movie.
Wicker Man cult thing. Yeah.
Right. But it's not just like, yeah, like you said, it's the color palette too. Like it's like Easter colors, this whole movie.
Yeah.
But with a little bit of blood mixed in. And I think, like, if anything else, it'll be interesting to see how somebody makes that attempt, like just from a purely visual standpoint, to make like something that's just as horrifying or unsettling as Hereditary, for obvious example, with like this very like joyful color palette and like this very like, you know, uplifting, like the kind of thing you'd see on a fucking Hallmark card. I'm interested in that. I think that's the biggest draw of this trailer. And that's literally like, I only watched it once, and I'm going to try not to, like, much like I am with Us, not pay attention to the adverts for it, because I am excited and I'd rather not see anything I would rather forget.
Have you watched the Us trailer, Randy?
Have not. No, I've managed to avoid that because I got early word from those trailers were pretty revelatory.
I was I'll keep it very spoiler free, but I was gonna actually mention that that's something that the Us trailer kind of has in common with the Midsummer trailers. There are certain scenes that are just very much out in the bright daylight, and there's sort of like creepy things happening. You know, I mean that was kind of happening in Get Out too, or Get Out as well. But it seems to be happening to another degree in this movie. Yeah, Get Out 2. Keep getting.
Keep getting.
And
your subtitles are on point today.
Thanks.
I only watch, I think, the teaser for Get Out, and I haven't seen the full trailer either. So that's interesting, because everything presented so far, or Us, sorry. Us is presented like darkly, I guess. Like I did see, like, I think in the teaser, like there are people like approaching like their home at night and stuff like that. So that's curious to know that there's some bright in that as well.
I'm so excited to watch that damn movie.
Yeah. Is that our movie next week?
No, it's 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's next week. Or shall we wrap up our gushing of?
Yeah. If we're done gushing, then I'll announce it. But y'all,
dude, when does I like completely forgot. When does Godzilla come out? That new Godzilla. Goddamn, I'm excited to watch that movie.
Yeah, that's not till like July, I think.
Oh,
if I remember correctly, it's a summer movie for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think July. But yeah, we'll be talking about it. That also looks freaking sweet.
We're creeping up on summer, boys. Oh, already March, mid-March. Oh, St. Patty's Day is this coming up weekend. So if you think about it, raise your glasses to the O'Toole clan. You know.
Yeah, we unless we change it, we'll be recording on St. Patty's Day.
Will we? Okay.
Yeah, unless we need to
I wonder
change
if I should cancel the Twitch stream for that, because I assume most people will be going out Saturday nights for St. Patrick's Day.
Probably, since it is on a Sunday, a lot of people will be. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure
Maybe.
that out. Not
We'll figure
while
it out.
recording it. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
This is how the sausage is made. So yeah, I think we're done gushing. I think that's it. So next week we have our last Patreon pick of the first quarter of the year. This pick was chosen by Vincent C, and it's something a little different, which I appreciate. It's so we're going to be talking about Demon Knight. However, Randy will be
I love Dennis
talking.
Miller.
Randy will be
That's right.
talking about Bordello of Blood. You may or may not recall, if you listen to episode 150, we were supposed to be reviewing Bordello of Blood, and Randy accidentally watched the other Tales from the Crypt movie, Demon Knight, so we're going to swap that around next week.
No, it's all of you that were wrong.
It's true. Everybody was wrong but you.
You were all wrong.
I gotta give props to Vincent. I think that idea is amazing, and it's right. It's coming up close. I can't remember the exact date, but it was about the same time last year as when we did the Bordello Blood episode. Like pretty close.
Yeah, it's like a couple weeks off from being exactly a year ago. Yeah, it's pretty close, which is awesome.
Yeah, great idea, Vincent. Thank you. I think that should be hilarious. So we're gonna have some guests on as well. Is that correct?
If all goes according to plan, yes, but we'll see when the time comes.
Okay, potential. Yeah. Oh no, yeah. So maybe surprise guest next week.
Yep. So yeah, thanks for choosing that, Vincent. Should be a good time. Until next week, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. It's a great way to support the show. It costs you nothing but just a couple minutes of your time, and it helps people find us that don't know we exist. It really does help us out more than you know. We always appreciate it when you guys do that. You can find us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. We are on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. You can also hit us up on our Twitch stream. You can hit us up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/straightchillingpodcast. Becky, I actually cannot see you, but I'm assuming you're still there. My phone has like this weird cropping option. There you are. You are there. Thank you for choosing The Farm, Becky. It is a truly bizarre Cannibal Christ movie, but I think we're all better human beings for having watched it.
No problem.
I do like the trivia fact that you guys now own that movie. So wait, did you own it? Did you own it to start with, or did you buy it because you had to watch it again for this episode?
No, we
It was like $2 more to buy it.
yeah, it was a pretty cheap film to begin with to purchase, and I was deciding whether or not to. I mean, if it's only a couple extra bucks, I was like, well, it's a little bit of a gamble, but I mean, I don't want to rent it and then buy it if I turns out I love it.
Yeah.
So and it was the first trial run of that logic, and it did not work.
Well,
Better luck next time, Randy.
you know we're getting that steel case next week, so just hold on to your shorts there, guy. Okay. Yeah, that's going to do it for us here this week at Straight Chilling HQ. Until next week, as always, everybody, please keep chilling.